All right, guys, so let's kick off our Python unit. The first thing we want to do is we want to create the file structure that we're going to use. So I'm just going to create a new folder on the desktop here and rename that. And I'm just going to call it Python unit. Perfect. Inside that folder, we're going to want to create a new folder called packet1. Just like the last chapter, we're going to be using kind of the packet system. So if right now you want to create packet2 and create packet1, so on and so forth, you feel free to do that now. Just pause the video. But with inside each packet, there's basically two things that I want from you. The first thing I want is one of them, there's going to be kind of like lecture videos like this where I'll be talking to you and we'll be learning stuff. And you're just going to code along with me, and every time I run the program, you run the program, and just to, kind of troubleshoot and learn the skills, right? The second thing I want in here is right here. I want to do challenge problems, and you can even specify that as like packet1 challenge problems, or better yet, Knoner packet1 challenge problems. Now, obviously, you wouldn't write Knoner, right? You'd write your own last name. So when I get the file, the folder, I'll notice whose it is, right? Okay. Without further ado, let's open up Notepad++. Notepad++ is how we're going to be coding this. So if you go down here, your computer may look different, but basically we're just searching the computer for Notepad++, and we find it. If you can't find Notepad++, just pause the video. Maybe your neighbor has found it, or I can come and help you find it. I need you to check one thing before we even get going here. In plugins, I want you to go down to plugins, right here, this PYNPP, you need that. If you don't have that, I need to install something on your computer. It'll only take a couple seconds, hopefully. But just pause the video, get me. If we don't have that, you're gonna have a bad time with this. It's gonna be impossible. Okay. So let's start off with saving our file. Just like HTML and CSS, we want to save our file in a very specific way so the computer can kind of interpret it. So I'm going to go File, Save As. I'm going to go to my desktop. There it is, Python unit. In packet1, this is a lecture. So I click in there. We saved HTML files .html, CSS files .css. That way, when the computer sees the kind of the text, it knows how to interpret it. I mean, that's really all we're doing is just giving it a way to kind of interpret what we're doing here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call this one. We're going to do this one about food, and it's going to be food.py, and that'll save it as a Python file. Okay. So let's just run a simple test, make sure everything's kind of working good here. I'm going to just print "Hello World." That's kind of the classic thing to start off with. And you'll notice just a couple things here real quick. Up here, you see that little red, the floppy disk is red. That means we have unsaved work. You could go File and then go down to Save, but we're going to be doing this so many times. Control S is just going to be a lifesaver. The second thing we're going to do is we're going to run it. Now you see this PYNPP. This is why we need it. We need it to run it, basically. If I just run the file in Python, watch what happens. You're not going to want to blink when this happens. Whoop, see it go? We just ran in Python. What I want to do instead is go down here. I want to run it in Python Interactive. Gives me a chance to kind of look at it, right? And play around. Okay, so Python Interactive. Same thing with saving, though. If you see here, it says run file in Python Interactive. Its keyboard shortcut is Alt-Shift-F5. We're going to be saving it and running it, saving it and running it like 10,000 times over. So just memorizing those keyboard shortcuts is going to be crucial to you. So Alt-Shift-F5, we'll just pull that up as well. Okay, so let's start a little basic program. Let's ask, hello, what is your favorite food, sir? So here's my program, and it runs, and I said Control S, and I'm gonna run it, Alt-Shift-F5. And you'll see that I have like a little space to enter in text. So if I say like, I like pineapple, there's gonna be like an error that runs. Basically what happens is this little the three little arrow things, I'm outside my program. Like my program has finished. So if I wanna ask a question, I have to do it in a little bit different way. So watch how I'm gonna ask a question. I'm gonna type this and I'm gonna input, and I'm gonna say, what is your favorite food? right? Okay. So look at the difference when I do this. Once again, Control S and then Alt Shift F5 to run it. Now I'm typing inside the program itself. So if I say pineapple here, it successfully exits with no errors. The biggest problem with this line of code is I get from the user what their favorite food is, but I don't store that anyway. So what I want to do is this, fav food. And this thing right here, I just created a variable, right? So a variable is just a piece of information that the program is storing. So it can be storing your name. It can be storing how many points that you have in a game. It can be storing all sorts of different stuff. So in this case, I'm just storing what their favorite food is, and I'm saving it as the variable fav food. Okay, now I want to do something with the information. So I'm going to print out a message back to them. I'm going to say, okay, so the next time I will have you over. So I have this message, right? And I want to drop whatever they say for fav food. I want to drop it right here, right? So if they say, Doritos, I want to put it right here. So the way that I do that is with a curly Q bracket like this, right above the enter and below the backspace. And I need to go outside the parentheses here to go dot format. So format is basically my way of saying I want to put something here, right? So whatever I put in the parentheses here will go here. So I want fav food. Perfect. One really common mistake that people make is, you see how these parentheses are kind of around fav food? Well, now this parenthesis doesn't have something that matches with it, so I have to put a second one. So it's just like kind of math, like those two parentheses need to match up, and then the fav food ones need to match up. Let's see if it runs. Control S, all F5. Okay, here we go. What's your favorite food? Let's say tacos. Okay, so next time I have tacos, I'll have you over. One little thing I want to fix up right now is, see how I have the question mark and then I have tacos going right next to it? Just a little style thing. But if I put a space right there, now when I say I like tacos, see that looks a little bit crisper. The second thing I want to do, let's say I want to extend it a little bit. I want to do favorite drink, right? So I'm going to change this to favorite drink. Okay, so how can we kind of expand this idea? Watch this. So I just add a second set of curly Q brackets, and I'm going to put in kind of probably the most common mistake, error code you'll get early on. So when I put in your favorite food, and I say pork chops, and my favorite thing to do is pork chop smoothie, it's going to say this one. Now, Python's awesome because it tells you exactly where the error is. So it says line 6 right here. So line 6 is where the error is, and I get this one, tuple index out of range. So basically what's happening in line 6 is I have these two curly Q brackets, so it's expecting two variables right here. So if I have fav food, I need to have fav drink right next to it. So we'll put fav food in the first one, fav drink in the second one. If I was to reverse those, it would reverse those. Awesome. So now when I run it, it should be like, okay, what's your favorite food? I like Lucky Charms, and the milk from Lucky Charms. Perfect. Awesome. All right. So that's a basic little start to the programming. We'll keep building upon it. But that's the basics of how you get a variable from the user, and then you can kind of use the variable from the user.